What up? It's D&D in the building. Purdue Power. No ceiling. Yeah. Double D back, that's Derek and Dalton. Talking gold blood, Mackie Ben Moulton. Black and gold dreams, banners we folding. Paint crew loud, every rim gets swollen. Stats so clean, you think it's a scheme. History books get per the screen. From humble to E-Day, legends on replay. We run through Mars like it's just another weekday. Double the energy, talking that legacy. Boiler boys cooking, no recipe. Microphone magic, rivalry static. We breaking it down, keep it cinematic. You want the heat, better tune in fast.
Hello, welcome back to the Double D Podcast. My name is Derek, and this is my co-host, as always, Dalton, rocking the Carhartt gear today. It is cold outside, and there is snow everywhere. We are going to do kind of a little bit of a special episode here, and something we're going to kind of do moving forward, I think, and maybe drop it on Mondays on socials, and we might do an episode. We'll see. But we are starting a top 25 and 5. So we will rank our 25 best teams plus 5 teams that are right on the verge of that, kind of like your honorable mentions. We both kind of did these independently and then combined them to get to a cumulative top 25 here. And we'll kind of hit on some talking points and some things that we noticed. I'll point out some that we really disagreed on, and we can talk about those as well. So without further ado, we'll start. We had the exact same first 6. So I'll go through these, and you just kind of holler at me if you have anything to say. I think they're fairly consensus. Purdue at number 1 on our top 25. Obviously, that is our team. They've bid number 1. Correct me if I'm wrong. My experience is if you're number 1 and you don't lose, there's no reason to get taken out of that spot.
I don't see it. That's why I thought it was crazy when AP dropped them below Houston. We didn't lose. I mean, that's crazy. So,
Yeah, I think everybody always talks about March, and March Madness is about winning. It's not by how much. So, number 2, with one of the better weeks you're going to see from a team is Michigan. Win 3 games against 3 pretty good teams. I think something nobody wants to talk about is those aren't 3 great teams. Those are a mid-major in San Diego State, in my opinion, another mid-major in Gonzaga, albeit the best one, and Auburn, who has a new coach. So either way, they did beat those teams by a combined 110 points. So deserving of the number 2 spot, in my opinion.
Yep.
Number 3, a team that would have been number 2 had Michigan not done that, is Arizona. You can't argue with the wins that they've accumulated. However, some of those wins are starting to not look as good with some of these teams that they've beaten are kind of reeling. But what are your any thoughts on Arizona?
Yeah, their net rating, shout out to KenPom. We got the subscription, so I love it. Their net rating is a 132 on strength of schedule, so wins aren't looking as great as they were. But I still think, with Koa Pete and the guys they have around him, this is going to be a hard team to beat. I think the top 6 are pretty interchangeable, honestly, so.
Yeah, and that'll lead us to number 4, Duke, who has one of the worst strength of schedules out there. Now, they will start playing some good teams here soon, so we really will find out how good Duke actually is. Any thoughts on them? I know they're a little, at least in my opinion, a little controversial just because I don't think that they've played anyone to really be deserving of a super high ranking. However, they have, like you said, the eye test is the eye test.
Yeah, I think with their net rating being at 32.5, that's a lot of combined statistics to get there. Even if they're playing doo-doo teams, they're winning by how much they should be. And that's going to transfer over into these big games. I think Duke is terrifying with the amount of talent. I do think they'll struggle late in the season with legs and having a lot of freshmen. Freshmen make mistakes, as we saw Cooper Flagg last year in March. So that's it.
Yeah, and they have Florida and at Michigan State coming up. So we're going to find out something about Duke. Number 5, kind of a surprise team. They'll be coming into Mackey Arena on Saturday. Iowa State Cyclones.
Sycamores.
Iowa State Cyclones at number 5. Been really impressed with what they've been. I thought this would be an down year for them, but they seem right back at it.
Yeah, their defense is stifling. They've got Jefferson and what is his name? Layman or Tip Lipsy.
Lipsy?
That yeah, he's nasty.
Taman Lipsy?
Yeah, he's a great guard. They're tough. They got that one of the European guys that can go get a bucket pretty well whenever he wants. He's tall dude. Gets to the bucket pretty easy. Yep. I can't think of his name ever. But yeah, I don't want to play Iowa State really, but we'll be there next Saturday.
Yes. It'll be a hell of an environment at Mac. Yeah, and allegedly, Tyrese Halliburton's going to be in the building, Iowa State alum. So that'll be super cool too. And then number 6, this is the last one we had exactly the same. Michigan State. Coming into this year, I didn't think Michigan State was a top 25 team, to be honest. They've proven me wrong. They've been extremely good, and they're about to go play Duke in what is that? That's on the 6th, so that's in like a week. So they're about to get another huge test. So what are your thoughts on Michigan State? Have they surprised you, or is this just what we should come to expect from Tom Izzo?
They have surprised me, but I shouldn't be. And I'm sorry, Mr. Izzo, for ever doubting you, dude. Because it just what Izzo does. It doesn't matter. He's got his guys. He knows how to use them. He's got 2 bigs that are tough. He's got the guards, Carr, flying all over the place. And then their point guard, Fears, is probably, I don't know, man. As far as point guards go, he's number 2 in the Big Ten easily. So he might break the record too. Dude,
if he stays 4 years, he will break Braden's record.
Yeah, Izzo. It's the Izzo.
It's the Izzo. All right, so just to recap those top 6: Purdue, Michigan, Arizona, Duke, Indiana. Gosh dang it, Iowa State, Michigan State. Sorry, Iowa State.
Sycamores.
I cannot help it. I wrote down ISU. That was my problem. So then we move on. We actually had a tie at 7 and 8. However, the higher ranked team by one of us got the nod. So UConn goes in at number 7. Dan Hurley just doing Dan Hurley things. They look like they're finally healthy, and you could really see that against Illinois. They handled that game. It was pretty much double digits the whole time. Was very impressed with that team, and yet again, UConn's got a national championship contending team.
Yep. Don't want to talk about it. Let's move forward.
Moving forward, we have Louisville at number 8. Another team haven't seen a ton out of as far as who they've played, but man, they've got a lot of youth and a lot of talent, and not a team I'd really want to see in March, I don't think.
340 SOS.
Yeah,
that's why they are where they are. You're undefeated, 27.89 net ranking, but your strength of schedule is ass.
Yeah, and I believe I'm looking right now. Louisville goes to Arkansas, home against IU, and then at Tennessee. So they've got some big games coming up. So they should. We'll find out a lot more about them.
Yeah.
Here shortly. So. At number 9, we have the Houston Cougars. Houston, dropped a game, not a bad loss by any means, but my thing with Houston is in their games, even the ones they've won against not very good teams, they have not looked good. They've got issues. I don't know who the guy is on that team, and I just think that they're going to have a rough season from a Houston perspective. I think they're still, maybe 2 to 4 seed in the tournament, but just not your standard Houston team that we're used to seeing, I don't think.
My problem with Houston is their depth. You get past the starting 5, one of them gets in foul trouble, you're going to have a matchup problem. I think that freshman guard's insane, though.
Oh, yeah. What's his name? Kingsley?
Kingsley.
Kingsley, yeah, something like that. Yeah, he's very, very good. All right, and then rounding out our top 10, and this is... They wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for Dalton puts them at 9, is Gonzaga. I'm not sold on them. I'm sorry, you don't get 30 or 40 pieced by anybody and be a top 10 team, in my opinion. However, I get it. because they're going to be there at the end of the year, because in 2 weeks, they're not going to play another good team for the remainder of the season.
St. Mary's.
Yeah, well, St. Mary's just got beat too by a team they shouldn't get beat by. So I don't think that conference is worth a crap, and I think Gonzaga will probably go 19-1 or 18-2 in it. We'll end up probably getting a 1 seed or a 2 seed in the tournament at worst. And so I don't mind them being at the 10 spot. I just don't think they're that good from a national standpoint. But what makes you like Gonzaga? You had them at 9.
I've seen Michigan piece up people like that. A bunch of people. I mean, I don't hold a lot of weight on that loss. I think anybody can lose to Michigan by 40 points this year. If they're hitting and they're on, you're not going to beat them. And I hate to say that. It's just they're stacked.
I want to see a hypothetical game where both Purdue and Michigan play their both games against each other.
Right. Yeah,
because that'd be fun to watch.
It would be. It's going to be a crazy banger of a game when they play each other if everyone's healthy. That's my worry for them is, maybe the depth as well, where we have 10 players, they might have 8. So
your connection's been kind of garbage, for the record.
Well, actual recording is higher quality is what Riverside says.
We'll see what Riverside actually does. Number 11. So that's our top 10. I'll run through those real quick. Top 10 was Purdue at 1, Michigan, Arizona, Duke, Iowa State, Michigan State, UConn, Louisville, Houston, Gonzaga. I like that top 10. Number 11, we roll down to Tennessee. They have been a fun, interesting team to watch. They beat Houston. They've lost a game. I think that this team is good. I think that they're very good. And I think that they have a really good chance to win the SEC.
Yeah, I agree. I like Tennessee. I think they're tough. Jacoby is a leader. They've got Ament and all the pieces around them. They're a good team.
Yeah. And then we go to number 12 is Alabama. I had them at 11, so I raised them up a little bit as far as a cumulative. I just think Alabama plays such a crazy schedule that they're going to accumulate losses, but they're a team that's going to only continue to get better, whereas some of these teams might be peaking. They seem like they're not to their peak at all yet. So I like where they're at, slotted at 12. The highest ranked 2-loss team, which makes sense in my opinion. Any thoughts on them? Obviously, we played them, so we're pretty familiar with how good
I had
they are.
Bama at 14, and I'm not a believer until they get their inside game figured out. Slashing and not rebounding can only take you so far. So I know they beat Illinois or whatever, but show me something, Oates. I don't like you.
And then we go to Vanderbilt, maybe the surprise team of the season so far. Undefeated, been very, very good. Metrics like them at this point, or didn't at first, but now the metrics are starting to like them. So we have them at 13. I haven't watched a full game of theirs, so I don't know a ton about them. Just not a team that's on my radar really, but I'm going to have to start paying a little bit of attention. I'll give me a big marquee game with them and let me see what they look like, I guess is where I'm at.
That's how I feel. I think that Nashville market's heating up though. The football team's balling, the basketball kids want to go there. It's a good place. So
a lot of big money down there too in country music.
Yep.
Then we hit 14, BYU, a team that I think, again, not near their peak yet, could probably end up being a top 10 team. However, also have one of those teams that, when your team's made of money, sometimes money doesn't win. And that's kind of the confusion with them. Any thoughts on BYU?
Played a crazy strength of schedule so far, and I think they look good. I think they're a scary team as well, and the Big 12 will tell you a lot about them. So,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do this year in that league. 15, we both had them at 15, Kentucky. Just a confusing little group of guys right now. Not sure what they are. Sometimes they look like they're really good. Sometimes they look like they don't want to be there. But again, a team that we don't want to talk too much about because their fans think that exhibitions are really important. Number 16, we'll go to North Carolina. This is maybe one for me that they might be the 30th best and they might be the 5th best. I don't know. they look different a little bit every game, but they do have a raw talented point guard or freshman guard in what was it, Caleb Wilson. He's absolutely a stud, and I think a guy like that can take you places.
Yeah, I mean, having a guy like him that can just get buckets or do whatever he wants out there, it's like AJ DeBonta. I mean, these freshmen are crazy this year. Brown, all of them, he falls into that same category. He makes or breaks that team.
Then 17, we have Illinois. Illinois is doing the Illinois thing where they can't show up for big games. Yeah, they can go blow out bad teams or average teams, but they go up against somebody with any sort of level of ability and talent, and they crumble. It seems to be the case. They have now lost back-to-back games to Alabama and UConn, and didn't really look great in either one of them, to be honest. The thing with Illinois is you see the talent, but then sometimes these foreign kids like Stojakovic and Petrovic, they just didn't show up again that UConn game. It's like, what are we like? Sometimes those guys just don't even seem like they want to be there, and then other times it's like they're going to absolutely dominate. So confusing team as always. I don't know if I've ever seen an Illinois team that I was like, I get it. No, I don't understand any of it. Any thoughts on Illinois?
Similar to KJ. I mean, last year he dropped 27. The next game would have 6.
Yeah.
He's a big puzzle piece, and that's how these kids are. And they're also coached by Brad Underwood. It's the Underwood effect. I mean, you could give him all the talent in the world. The guy, I don't know when Illinois fans are going to figure it out that he's not that great of a coach. He's a good recruiter, and he plays with money well.
Yeah, he seems to be really good at the management side of coaching, but not
Yeah.
the in-game side of coaching.
I mean, you
Like
lose
if you know when you're playing like the video games and you can go into like owner mode or you can go into coach mode, he's good in the owner mode. Like he never loses, but in the coach mode, he struggles, and he doesn't even look at the player mode.
Yeah, he's running Dynasty and simulating the games.
Yeah, he's just really good at selling popcorn and tickets. Next up, we have number 18 is Kansas, another team with all kinds of talent. I think if Darren Peterson decides he likes basketball, then they will be a formidable team. But right now, I just confused by him. So Big 12 reveals all things, and I think you'll see by the end of January what they are, what they aren't.
Yeah, their defensive rating's really high. I mean, their strength of schedule is good. They played some good teams. The couple of losses, they just look like they didn't know what they were doing. I mean, they still got Flory and all them dudes. They've got the dudes. I just don't think Self's a great coach either. I think he's similar to an Underwood. I think he got ahead of the game when he could pay players when it was illegal. And he got away with it somehow, and that boosted Kansas, which obviously Kansas is always a destination place to play. But I just think Self's starting to get exposed.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are. It's funny when you saw that NIL stuff come to light, all these old head coaches that were really good quit. And it's like, oh, why? Because everybody gets to play your game now, you know? You didn't have all the blank pieces in the game of Scrabble. You know, you had to actually make the letters fit together. You didn't get to just add them in. So, number 19, Florida, another team that had a ton of preseason hype. Obviously, was a top 3 team in the preseason, and then gets to the season and they can't beat anybody with a pulse. Their guards have just not worked out. Xavier Lee has been a terrible $3 million man. It just goes to show you that paying these guys all this money doesn't guarantee production. Only thing it guarantees is that they have other things on their mind. You know, I don't know what Florida is going to end up this season. They may be fine, but so far they look like a team that's bound to lose in the Sweet 16.
Curse of the Boogie Fland.
Yeah, and their additions almost seem like subtractions.
Yeah, I mean, when you have guards like you had last year, like Condon? No, Condon's a big man.
Condon was a big boy.
Who was their really good guard last year that carried them? He's pro now. Anyways. Smaller guy. He was tough.
He was like one of the best. Walter Clayton.
Yeah, Walter Clayton.
And they had Will Richard, Elijah Martin. They had some good guys.
You can't replace that with Xavier Lee and Boogie Fland. So.
Well, you can. You know the old statement, it's addition by subtraction type of thing? Well, they're subtraction by addition. Yeah, so not sure how that works. But, yeah, you can replace Walter Clayton with Boogie Flan. It's just going to look like what it looks like. Number 20, and you had them higher than me quite a bit. Texas Tech. This will round out our top 20. I was back and forth with them so much when I was trying to go through this ranking. I just wasn't sure that the level is there to be a top 10 team, in my opinion. They just they need to get it figured out from a role play standpoint. They can't rely on just two guys. They've got to get some other guys to figure it out, and need to figure that out. So, I mean, what is your thoughts on them? Obviously, you had them ranked at 18. I think I had them in like 24. What was your reasoning there?
I asked Craig Bowers a question last night, and he kind of put me onto them and said, I asked him if he thinks that it'll hold as much weight down the road towards March. And he seems to think so. They're still, 22nd in the KenPom. I think they played some tough schools. I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't think they're going to lose bunnies. I think they'll make a show out in the Big 12. Just got to get some stuff figured out. They're young cats. I mean, so
Yeah, I mean, their losses are to Purdue on a neutral and at Illinois. It's not like
tough. And they played both of the. I mean, we blew them out. Obviously,
we destroyed them, and Illinois beats them by 4 at home, which isn't huge. Illinois, speaking of, has played a ruthless schedule as well. But I think, to me, something about watching that Purdue game and Purdue obliterate them just made me feel like, how could you let that happen to you? But they just seemed to give up in that game. They didn't have a lot of fight, and I need to see fight from a good team. Anyway, so moving into our next 21st is USC. And let's keep this very clear. This isn't because they've beaten anyone spectacular, but they are undefeated. They have looked solid. They haven't looked to me like a team that shouldn't be ranked. So they end up at 21. We both had them pretty similar in our rankings. I think that USC might have a little something here. They got some really good guards. That three-headed monster they have of Mazzara, Rice, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but they're good. Asar.
Sorry.
They have 3 guys. They have 2 guys averaging 20 points and a guy averaging 17. So 57 points between 3 players. Tough to battle with. Now they are all guarded wingish, so their interior could be a problem, but I think that this could be a team that sneaks into that top 4 of the Big Ten, because I think the top 3 are pretty solidified, at least for now. But USC could be a team that sneaks in.
Yeah, they're top 25 in offensive rating. I mean, they score the ball. They play decent enough defense. Their SOS is obviously weak right now. But yeah, I mean, you've got, guards older than Anthony Edwards still playing college ball. You're bound to be decent. So, I mean, you should have college ball figured out by now, CBM.
Yeah, you would think so. All right, then we go to number 22, another team's played a really good schedule, Auburn. So they have losses against number 1 Houston at the time and Michigan. Oddly enough, in both those games, they scored 72 points, so maybe they should try not to do that. But they do also have wins over Oregon, St. John's. So one of those teams that I think is, their next 2 games are against NC State and at Arizona. Then they play number 1 Purdue. So this will be a battle-tested team. I mean, think about that. Before they ever get to conference play, they will have played Houston, Michigan, St. John's, Arizona, Purdue, and NC State, and Oregon. I mean, we'll know very quickly, because to me, they're either a top 15 team or a outside the top 25 team.
Yeah. I just don't know if Nepo Kochi is ready to roll. I think the pieces are there, and I think Tahad Pettiford is a great point guard. But I don't know we'll see if old man's son can coach. So that's where I'm at with him.
Well, and they only lose to Houston by 1 point. So, I mean, they have the ability to hang with anybody. And now they're going to play Arizona and Purdue in back-to-back weeks. So, we're going to find some stuff out. Next up,
good luck.
This is one we had very drastically different, was Missouri. I had them around 21st. You had them at 30th. So pretty big gap there, but they fall in our rankings at 23 with the mix. Another team that's, in my opinion, I value not losing games a lot in early season rankings. You know, when it gets later in the season, sure, a team with 6 losses that are all against really good teams might be better than a team with 3 against not great teams. But when you're undefeated, you get something for it. They are undefeated currently. You know, their probably best win is maybe over like Minnesota. Um, so that's the caveat. We do have them at 23rd, though. We'll move on from them. There's not a lot. I don't think you have much to say. You had them at 30th. So next up, Dalton doesn't like this. Number 24, we have the Indiana Hoosiers. Again, Dalton had them outside the top 25. I had them inside. This is the reason they get inside to me. Again, same reason as Missouri. They're undefeated. I know they've played literally nobody. Kansas State's their best victory, and Kansas State's not good. But again, another team. What's this?
Swipe right.
Swipe right. Another team that we'll find out very quickly. They play Kentucky and Louisville coming up. So my assumption is that they will get the doors blown off of them, both of those games. But I could be wrong. They can at least shoot the ball. Once they get into Big Ten play, they're done for because they have no size.
Can't
Then
wait.
rounding out our original top 25, again, this one was carried by Dalton. It had them at 21, was Baylor. So Baylor is our 25th ranked team. I think Baylor's potentially better than this, but I'm just not sure yet. What made you put them at 21 in your ranking?
Offensive rating is 14th. They've played a tough schedule and they made it out 5-1. I mean, they're in the top 35 of strength of schedule. To be 5-1 at the end of that, I believe in Scott Drew. I think he's a great coach, and I think they have a good program down there. So that's why they're there.
Yeah, can't argue with it. All right, then we'll go to our plus 5. So at number 26, we have Iowa. Again, this is probably just more due to the fact that they haven't lost yet. Don't think that they're a real deal type of team. Think that they probably end up in the middle of the pack in the Big Ten. I don't believe fully in this rebuild with a bunch of guys from Drake. So what's your take on Iowa? Do you have anything to say?
No, I think Sturts is great, and I like the mid-major transfer over, but you're about to find out what Big Ten ball is like. Yeah, that's not Drake ball. Like you're about to get hurt, dude.
Yeah. And then this one carried by the Dalton Brown, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I didn't even have him as a thought. He has him at 23rd, so that carries him to number 27 on our list. The Nebraska Cornhuskers.
I thought you liked winning.
I do, and I didn't even realize they were undefeated.
You're a hypocrisy now, dude.
Dude, I'm a hip hop anonymous. Well, they do have wins over Oklahoma, Kent State, so New Mexico. So I mean, they've played some teams with at least a pulse.
Yeah, you know why? Because they're at 49th in KenPom right now at 8-0. With teams that have lost, multiple teams have lost 3 games ahead of them.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't love about KenPom because there's a lot of like preseason projection built into KenPom. And like Torvik does not do that, I don't believe. It's all current. But they have in their next 3 games, Creighton, Wisconsin, and at Illinois. So again, another team. We'll see if they're real.
Yeah.
We'll see if they're real. You know, our rankings next Monday could look drastically different than
I hate
this
it, dude. My sheet's gonna be so much worse.
And then at 23, we have the LSU Tigers. Another
20.
team.
28.
28, I apologize. The LSU Tigers, another team that, so far they've just won games, and that accounts for something. I was going to look up who they've actually played so far. So nobody. DePaul, Drake, Omaha, like literally I wonder what their ranking is because they have played no one.
They're on, their SOS? They're 326th.
Yeah. I imagine they were in the 300s. When Drake is your best win, with Drake being their first year without a head coach or without their head coach. So LSU again, they're in our honorable mention just in the +5 just because of being undefeated. Then we go to one of the most confusing teams in America, and maybe a testament to how bad the Big East actually is St. John's at 29. Another team that was top 5, 10 preseason. then the truth all starts coming out about maybe they're not that. They've lost 3 games now. Now they've been to Alabama, Iowa State, and Auburn. They did beat Baylor, a team that's played. These are the tricky ones for me, right? They're 4-3, but their 3 losses are to 3 teams that we have all basically in the top 20. They've beat another team we have at 25th, but it's a game of wins and losses, and there's a reason. They're losing these games, and they've all been like Auburn at home, Alabama at home, Baylor on a neutral. So I mean,
Yeah.
these aren't like away games or true road games. So to me, prove it. They don't really play anyone for a while, so they're going to win a few in a row here, and then they go to.
Yeah, they're not based on moral victories, bro.
Yeah, the only real game they have left is Kentucky, and then they get into Big East play, and they don't play UConn until February 6th. So they could legitimately, if they beat Kentucky, win 15 in a row here. I don't think they're good enough to do that, but they have the opportunity in front of them, I guess.
Yeah.
And then rounding out our very last +5, so our 30th ranked team here, and again another one that I didn't have on the board, but you had pretty high on the board, is TCU. I'll let you talk on them because that was your baby on this sheet.
I saw them they played everyone tough. They beat Florida. It's who we had higher. I mean, they are 5-2. But they lost to Michigan by 4.
Their biggest fall is the fact that they lost that first game to New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened there, but I also know moral victories, but we want to talk about Gonzaga getting ass blasted by Michigan by 40, and we want to hold them accountable for that. But TCU loses by 4 and then goes and beats Florida and a team that we thought very highly of at the beginning of the year, Wisconsin, which you were kind of, if so, here, there on them. But I mean, they're going out and they're playing these games. They won the Ratty Children's Invitational, I believe. To win on a neutral court against good competition, you deserve it. I mean, I had them in my top 25 at 25. Keep balling, ECU.
They've got 4 guys that have led their team in scoring already this year. So clearly a team that's got some balance to them. I mean, let's see. The Punch has had 19, Toulson 25, Pierre 18, Posey 21. So 4 guys score 18 or more already. Very balanced team. If they didn't lose that game to New Orleans, they would, without a doubt, be a top 25 team. Without a doubt. That game is going to haunt them if they happen to be on the bubble come tournament time. Yeah. Because that's going to be a quad 3 or 4 loss. Yeah. And really going to look bad. But to their defense, it's the very first game of the season. They lose it by 4. They were up most of that game. Fluky ending. But a loss is a loss. No moral victories. So that rounds out our top 25 +5. I'm going to run down the whole list real quick before we hop off here. So at number 1, we had Purdue, 2, Michigan, 3, Arizona, 4, Duke, 5, Iowa State, 6, Michigan State, 7, UConn, 8, Louisville, 9, Houston, 10, Gonzaga, 11, Tennessee, 12, Alabama, 13, Vanderbilt, 14, BYU, 15, Kentucky, 16, North Carolina, 17, Illinois, 18, Kansas, 19, Florida, number 20, Texas Tech, number 21, USC, 22, Auburn, 23, Missouri, 24, unnamed, 25, Baylor, 26, Iowa, 27, Nebraska, 28, LSU, 29, St. John's, and rounding out the 25 +5 is TCU at 30. We're going to try to put this out every Monday and adjust, what we're thinking, how we're feeling. Sometimes our ranking is going to be pretty in line with what you see out there. Sometimes it might not. We're doing this more on what we think, mixed with the metrics, mixed with what we've seen out there. Obviously, we're more Big Ten watchers than anything, so you're going to see some Big Ten teams in there. But I think right now, my biggest takeaway from this list is the Big Ten at the current moment has 3 of the top 6 teams, and they are looking damn good.
Yeah.
And so it's a very typical Big Ten year, it feels like. 3 of the top 6, and then let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of the bottom 10. and so that 20 to 30, the Big Ten usually dominates.
Yep.
That top 6 is not normally as prevalent, but right now I think Purdue and Michigan are the 2 best teams in the sport. So Arizona and Duke are right behind them, and then I think Iowa State, Michigan State are right behind them, and then and maybe UConn, and then I think there's a little bit of a drop off after that UConn Louisville number. Maybe you could throw Houston in there, but all in all, it was fun doing those, and we're gonna put out a graphic every Monday as well. It'll be a pretty cool looking graphic. We did it a little different than some people. Thanks Dalton for doing that. It looks really good. So want to thank everybody for watching as always. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, hit the bell notifications so you can catch us when we go live, and check us out on Spaces during the half times of Purdue games. If you want to leave a comment, we'd love to talk to you guys, and it does help us grow. Want to say thank you to everybody who's subscribed. We're up over 140 subscribers now. We'd love to get that to 200 by the end of the year. Hopefully we can make that happen. I want to shout out my son. He did just hit his 330th subscriber. I told him we were going to catch him. We were catching him for a while, and then he had another one of his YouTube algorithm bumps that took him from like 250 to 300 in a day. But he's killing it out there. If you check him out, his name's Jameson Mulligan. But all right, thank you very much. And if you guys have any questions, drop them. But we appreciate everybody for watching. Peace out.